Today I'm going to show you a project I am really excited about. This is so cute. This is a version that I have made, and I'm going to show a different way of doing this where I use polka dot fabrics. So this is a back to school themed placemat, or great placemat for somebody who's really into art. I think it's also going to be excellent for anybody who has grandkids or kids of their own that are elementary age. So let's get started. All right, so to do this, I have a bunch of different fabrics that are all kind of polka dot, or like these little dashes I'm kind of counting as like a polka dot type of a thing. And I have them in the different colors of the rainbow, plus I have black and I have brown. Because if you remember when you were a kid, there was always a black crayon and always a brown crayon. And the same is true of colored pencils as well. And then I also have a fuchsia, because there was always a pink or a fuchsia colored crayon or colored pencil within the supplies. For this, these strips are all 2.5 inches wide, and I have it cut to the width of fabric, but really you only need half of the strip to make one placemat. So I can just go ahead and I can just cut these in half, and then I can just trim it down to the size that I need it to be. That is the first thing that we need for that. And what we will be doing with that is we will be making a strip set out of all of these. And so we're going to lay it out. So we have all of these, and what we're going to do with them is we are going to sew these all into one big strip set. All right, so now we have the strip set, and this is going to be the main part of the colored pencils. I have it trimmed to 10 inches in this case. In this one, I actually did it 10.5 inches. If you have enough length to your width of fabric, then you can do that. So in this case, half of a strip there is going to yield 2 placemats. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside for right now because we need to make these tips of the colored pencils. The best way to do that is to do it by paper piecing. And so you need a template for paper piecing. And I have some templates that I have made up, and those will come in the pattern that is linked in the description. However, if you're a DIY type, I know I am, they're very easy to make. All you need to do is just draw 2 inches. So you need a 2-inch square. So I'll go ahead and just draw that out. And so first things first, you need a 2.5-inch square of paper, and that is going to be what you end up stitching on. Okay. Basically, you want to position this. So this is where it's nice to have a cutting mat. So you want to be able to position that, and you can use washi tape. I have masking tape that I just did a little length of, and then I just cut in half. I just stuck it to the cutting mat, I cut it in half, and then I peeled the 2 pieces up. And I've already used this a few times, so it works fine. And as long as it's not going over that 1/4 inch line, you're fine. I really only need like 2 pieces. And then I'm basically just going to follow the lines on my cutting mat and draw that out. So you could use a friction pen, but the problem with the friction pen is that as soon as you go to iron this, if you like to do that instead of finger pressing or using a wood roller pressing tool, then you're going to lose all your lines. So instead of that, I use a mechanical pencil. Mechanical pencil works great for this. So I go ahead and do that. And then I can draw the line on this side. And then I need those lines up above and down below. Okay. And so now I have that basic outer box, and that is going to be where those end up being seams that match up to neighboring blocks. And so I just need to have that center up at the top in the middle. So I'm just going to extend from that down to each corner. Okay. And then I need to have this line across. I can just do it that way. And then it's as easy as that. Now I can just peel this up, carefully peel off the tape so I don't tear my paper. And here is a template right here. So you will need 10 of these. Maybe you don't want to draw out 10 of them, in which case I do have a pattern. And so I do have a sheet in my pattern where I have all of these. They're all exactly the same size. They're all the perfect size. And all you have to do is just cut them to the 2.5 inches square and you're good to go. So I have my templates. And so for that, you will need to figure out a fabric in your stash that has more of kind of a quality of looking like the wood of a pencil. So like this right here. So kind of a khaki kind of a color, or maybe even a light brown could work. And you will need 2.5 inches long by 1.5 inches tall. And then for the tips, you need to have a 1.5 inch square for this. And then this part is pretty easy, and I usually do this at the machine. So what you do is you just fold this long ways, and then you just give it a fingernail press there. So you see you have a nice little crease. And then the square doesn't matter. Just pick one of the ways and then just fingernail crease it right there. And if you are using a pattern for this, you know, like say you found a wood grain kind of pattern print, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have the right side up, and then you're going to do it this way. For the tips, you probably want to go with solid just because that's what's going to look the most like a colored pencil or a crayon. And so then you can just nest these right on top of each other and just right into the groove there, and then just stitch on one side. After you've done that, you will have something that looks like this, okay? And I pressed it open because I want it nice and flat. So you could press it to the side, but for me, my preference, I pressed it open. And then what you're going to do is you're going to glue this to the template. And so you flip the template to the back side, and then you need a glue stick. And so you'll just put your glue there, and then you just position it on there, press it down, and then you just wait for it to dry, and you're ready to go. So the next step is going to be to take this dried template that you've done that with, and you need a piece of cardstock. So I have all of these shelf list cards because I work at a library. So that's what I'm using. And what you want to do is you want to line it up on the line there, and then you want to fold that back, and you basically use the cardstock as a way to fold that back. So anybody that's familiar with paper piecing already knows how to do this. And then I have an add a quarter ruler. You do not need it. You could do it with this and just line it up and trim it. The advantage to the add a quarter is it does have that little lip edge, and so you just put it on there, you trim it, and it works great. It's a perfect tool for paper piecing. So if you're planning on doing a lot of paper piecing and you don't already have one of these, I would recommend getting one. But like I said, and I just demonstrated, you don't have to have it. You can just use a ruler that has a 1/4 inch marking and do it that way. So now we have that trimmed down. So now we got to have this background. So this background is going to need a template. And so what you'll do is you'll just make up the template, okay? And the template is really easy to make. This template is, of course, 2.5 inches tall, okay? And then you're going to go 1 3/4 inch that way, and then 1/2 inch that way, and then it's basically a straight line that way. So it's just a trapezoid that looks like that. So that's really easy. And then whenever you make your background squares, what you want to do is you want to have, it's actually not going to be squares, it's going to be rectangles. And so these are 2.5 inches by 2.25 inches. And I actually have them just slightly longer than 2.5 inches just because that seems to be a little bit of breathing room for whenever I attach the piece there. But if I do that, I can line up this template right on here and then take whatever marking tool is appropriate. I have some nice white chalk here that works like a charm. And these are solid. Now, if you're using a print, like I did in my first placemat piece that I made out of the solids, then for that, I actually used a print for these background pieces. And so if you do that, then you're going to need to flip this over to the other side, because otherwise you're not going to have your pieces for both sides. And so you can just mark that way. And you need, for one placemat, you need 10 of these rectangles. And then you can just take like a few of them and you can line it up like that. And then just cut them. So then just cut them. You've got them ready to go. And in the case of solid, it doesn't really matter. I can cut them all the same way because then I can just flip it around and it's the same. But in the case of print, you will need to have these actually be cut 2 different ways. And so you want to take 5 of your squares, cut them the one diagonal direction, and then 5 of the squares, cut them the opposite diagonal direction with that template. And you could skip marking and just use the template, but I'm always concerned I'm going to cut into my templates and start making my templates be inaccurate over time, so that's why I don't do that. So now that you have pieces, then what you'll do at the machine is you'll take this, and this piece will actually match up with this right here. And so basically you want to have this bit of it almost be even. It'll be poking out just a little bit. So it'll be poking out just a little bit, and then this part here will be poking out just about 1/4 of an inch. And then a way that you can kind of check to see if that's actually going to work is, first of all, you can secure this with a pin. So there you go. Okay. So, but what you can do is you can take this and then, you already folded it to cut it. And so you can look at that. And this is kind of your audition. So you can see that you got a little bit of gray that's poking out above and to the side. So that's a pretty good bet that that is going to be working really nicely, especially if you keep these pretty nice and even together. So you want to go ahead and sew those up. And after you've sewn those up in all of the different colors that you need, you will have both sides put on there, and you rip off your paper and press it nice and flat, and you will end up with something that looks like this. And so here, what we want to do is we want to have this a perfect 2.5 inch square. So we can line that up that way, and I can take this line here and match it up with that, since we know that's center. And then this right here is the center of this ruler, this 2.5 inch wide ruler. And so I'm going to match that up with the tip there, and then just carefully trim that. And then this is kind of awkward, but I'm doing it that way. Okay, and so now I have 2 of the sides trimmed, and then I'm going to do the same concept. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to match it on the center line. I'm going to take one of those long lines there. I'm matching it right there. So that looks really good. And it looks like I don't really have to do anything to trim on this side. It's all on the top side. And generally that's going to mostly be the case with these. If there's a little bit to trim, it might just be a little tiny bit of that background on the edges that gets trimmed, and that's about it. So now that is a nicely trimmed piece, and that can go with my other bits here that are ready to go. And so for this next step, what I have found is that this really needs a little bit more stabilization, because we have all of this bulk that's in these corners, and it's bulk in the corners at every single point. And I find that it's just easier if I use some fusible interfacing. And so this is just something that I like to do. So what I will do is, but you can line these up, and then just line up like a few of them and just make sure that they're nice and straight. And so you could use a quilting ruler for this. You could use a regular ruler, like what we use to make the template. Or you could use like one of these nice metal rulers. That works well. But whatever you do, you just want to make sure that you have everything ending up pretty straight and even. And then you'll just go ahead and press all of these down and just press them in the sequence that you want to have this be. And so I will go ahead and do that, and I will come back. So here is all of these tips nice and pressed together. And so that keeps them all in order. And then for sewing them, I can just fold them over, and I can just sew the 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these sewn up. All right, so here we go. We have all of the pencil tips pressed. And what I did with these is I went ahead and I just trimmed them on the edge of that seam. So I want to leave most of that seam allowance in place. And then I go ahead and just press it open. And after I am done doing all of that, it will look like this. And so then I can go ahead and I can match this up with the main part of the placemat. And so as you can see here, this looks pretty good. That looks like that's going to line up really nicely. And so now I want to go ahead and you can pin these in place. I'm going to clip them in place. So I just clip these in place here, and I'm matching up these seams. So I have that one there. And then I like to just do every other one. You could do every one of these, and that makes it maybe a little bit more secure, but I looked at this and everything looks like it's actually matching up pretty well. So this is just to make sure that it stays on track when I go to sew these two together. And then the next step is to just go ahead and get this sewn. And then what I like to do is I like to press it to this side like that, because that's away from the bulk. So now I have the placemat all stitched up, and it's just a matter of adding the top and bottom borders to this, and that will make it more of a real sized placemat. And so I just sew the borders onto the top and the bottom, and that will finish it up. And here it is. It's all nice and finished up. I've actually sewn this all the way into the placemat. As you can see here, I have it nice and stitched up. This is my backing, which is a fabric that I found totally appropriate to this particular design. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. And if you did, definitely go ahead and like and subscribe if you find my content useful. And again, I do have the pattern available, so you can follow the link in the description. See you next time.